Hello, you beautiful naughty creatives. Welcome to another episode, Crochet Edition. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're true, I appreciate you. Remember to subscribe and turn on your notifications. Let's get into it. Here is the look that we're going to be working on today. Okay, so I decided to call this the fringe slit skirt. As you can see, it's giving very much fringy, very much slit on the side, super cute. Okay, so this is what we're going to be working on. It has so much movement, it's so fun, so classy, and it's just like the ultimate, party and classy skirt. Is just a perfect duo. So let's go ahead and get into what we're going to need for materials. Okay, so you're definitely going to start off by needing a skein of yarn. For me personally, I only used one of these skeins that I wound up. Okay, and if you guys do want to see how I went ahead and wound that up, I will go ahead and add a clip in the top right or left hand corner that's going to show what I use to wind up my yarn skeins. Okay, and I do apologize here, you can't really see the yarn size, the hook size that I'm using, but it is a 3.5 millimeter. Okay, you're also going to need scissors, a measuring tape. All right, and I did go ahead and already pre-measure myself. So what you definitely want to do is get your waist measurement, which is the smallest part of your waist. Then you want to get your hips, which is the widest part of your hips. Okay, and then you want to get from your waist to the full length of where you want your skirt to stop. Okay, so yeah, that's the measurements that you need. And then here, this project consists of only double crochets. Okay, so it's all double crochets for this project, and also a front post and back post for the waistband. So let's get into it. For my size personally, I am going ahead and chaining up a total of 104 chains. Okay, and here I'm showing you guys just a little cool trick on how to chain a large number of chains without having it turning every which way. So how you want to do that is you start by chaining, and then you want to remove your hook and enter the hook in from the start of the chain, and then connect it back to where the yarn is coming from. Okay, and then you just want to continue chaining. So I'm going to go ahead and actually repeat that part one more time in slow-mo, just so you guys can see better how I did that, and then I'll be back to start on the body of the skirt. So hopefully you understand the concept better now that I've shown you in slow-mo. And then now all I'm going to be doing is chaining up the number of chains that I need for my measurements, which I am a medium. So I am chaining again a total of 104 chains, but depending on your size, you just want to go ahead and chain up however you may need for your body. Okay, so once I get to the 104 chains, here it is right here. Okay, and now all I'm doing is just grabbing my measuring tape, and I stated that my hip size is about 41 inches. So what I'm doing ultimately is grabbing my measuring tape and pulling it out to 41 inches and making sure that the chain that I just created with the 104 can easily stretch to that width for the 41. Okay, so the ultimate goal is just making sure that your chain can stretch between your waist and your hip size. So if it's anywhere in between that, that means that you'll be able to get it on easily from your hips, and then it will still be at your waistline. Okay, so here what I'm doing, I'm then going ahead and slip stitching to the beginning of the chain. Once you slip stitch, you want to chain one. Okay, and at this point we're going to be working through all those ridges on the back. So you chain one, and then you're going to yarn over, and we're going to double crochet into each of those ridges. So you should have a total of 104 for my size if you're following the same exact number as me, but if not, then you'll have the same exact number as whatever chain you chained for your starting chain. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and continue that with double crochet all the way around till you get back to the beginning. Once you get back to the beginning, you're just going to finish up your double crochets, and you do want to make sure that you check your band or your chain just to make sure that it is on the right side and it is not crisscrossing each other. Okay, so you want to make sure that it's going to close off the right way for you, if you get what I'm saying. So yeah, once you do that, then you want to go ahead and slip stitch to that very first double crochet. Going to slip stitch. Okay, so here's what it's looking like. It's all symmetrical, all going the same way. And we're going to chain one. Now this is going to be the process following forward. You always want to chain one and turn your work. Once you turn your work, you're going to go ahead and double crochet back into the other direction. And you're just going to go ahead and repeat that for as many rows as you need to for your personal measurement. As for me, my sizing, I am 5'5", so I'm a bit on the short side. So with that being said, I am doing about 16 to 17 inches for myself when it comes to the length of my project. Okay, so I am going to have a total of 30 rows that I'm doing before I start the slit portion of the skirt. So it's going to be 30 regular double crochet rows until we get to start the slit of the skirt. For the slit, all we're going to be doing, which I really do love how easy it is to make the slit, you're pretty much just going to be skipping that first initial stitch. Okay, so the same stitch where we do our chain one, turn, and then double crochet all the way around till we get to the end and add another double crochet. We're actually going to skip that. All right, so double crochet all the way till you get to the second to last stitch. So the second to last stitch is where you're going to place your last double crochet. Instead of putting it into that chain one space to close it off, you're only going to put it in the second to last stitch. So I'm going to let you guys see me get to the end and then show you what I mean by the second to last stitch. And you'll see as the rows go on, you'll be able to tell the difference as far as how the slit is turning the design. Okay, So let's keep going and let's get done, you guys. You're almost halfway there. Great job if you've made it so far. Definitely comment what you're thinking of this pattern so far. You know, let me know how it is and maybe some ideas for the top. I do have a top that's already made. I'll try to see if I can slide in a picture for you guys or video of what it was like previously with the other color that I first did it with. So and you guys can also definitely check out my TikTok because I do have it on there. I will link my TikTok down in the description below, okay? And also I did receive a comment recently. I'm really so appreciative of all you guys' comments, all the you know, just all the love that you guys give me, the support. I really am grateful and really do appreciate it. And recently someone did comment letting me know about an issue which already I was dealing with, which pretty much is that my Instagram, my IG, both my personal and my business Instagram under Naughty by Selassie did get hacked. So I am still in the process of getting that recovered, but currently if you do have me on that page and anybody is messaging you either by Naughty by Selassie or Selassie underscore the underscore CEO, that is not me. I repeat again, that is not me. So definitely please do not engage or interact with them. But I am trying to recover the page. So if you could simply just report that page on my behalf, I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, but I am on Snapchat, I am on TikTok, and of course I'm on YouTube. So I'm definitely so far so good. So yeah, I definitely appreciate all you guys in the comments. I do see all of them. It's just, you know, that was a little bit of a hard time at the moment because I was trying to figure out what was going on, losing followers, losing, you know, just this community that I've tried to build up for myself. But it's okay, you know, things happen. So we will definitely move along to another platform of social media and I am completely fine with that. But yeah, guys, so I hope you guys are really liking this video so far. And I did also create a Patreon. I know a lot of people have asked me about that, as well as patterns and things like that. So I am still new in the game of crochet pattern making, or, you know, even still with crocheting in general. But I would really appreciate any feedback, any advice, what you guys want to see on Patreon. So I know more so what to gear towards for you guys, my naughty creatives. And I'm just so appreciative of you guys. I'm truly grateful for all of your support, and definitely let me know down in the comments what type of top you want me to make for this, or I might just make a couple of different tops, especially some that's for the summertime. So definitely drop down in the description what you're in the mood for, or if you just want me to make all of them, I can definitely do that too. Yeah, guys, that's all for my tech talk today. Okay, thanks for coming to my TED talk. But yeah, back to the tutorial. So here we are on that second to last double crochet. So you're going to skip that last stitch in between. Okay, so you see here after we turned it around and did that chain one, there's already a little slit there. So you're just going to keep crocheting, double crochet all the way across, all the way to that very last double crochet stitch. Okay, so I'm going to do that here, and for me I'm doing a total of after the second row here I'm going to do 4 more rows, so that's a total of 6 rows. Okay, so here I just want to show you guys when I get to the end of that second row, make sure here are 2 stitches here. It's going to look like one at first, but just make sure that you're mindful of that last one that is there. Okay, so you want to double crochet into that. Okay, so that is my second row there, and now I'm going to chain one, turn my work, and do a total of 4 more rows, okay, from end to end. And if you want yours to be longer, you can definitely do more rows of the slit section if you wanted to. But here I am coming up on the end of my 6th row for the slit portion. Okay, so that's the last stitch there, and now all I'm going to do is just chain up 1 and trim my yarn, pull that through and tighten. Okay, so this is what the skirt is looking like after the slit is finished. Okay, so now at this point, what we're going to be doing, I'm going to measure here first for you guys to see the length at which I stopped. So it's about 17.5 inches that I stopped at. Well, actually right at 17. Okay, and now we're going to turn our project on the other side, and we're going to make our waistband. For the waistband, personally, all you want to do is just find anywhere and put your hook through the chains. Okay, you're going to then attach your yarn, chain 1. All right, and here's where we're going to do the front post, back post double crochet. So if you don't know what that is, you can definitely get off of this video, search what that is, learn that really quickly, and then come back. Or you can simply just watch how I'm doing it here. So technically, all you're going to do is double crochets, so the same exact stitch we've been doing, just opposite, alternating each other. Okay, so the way to get that effect is by putting the hook through the front of that other double crochet. So instead of going through the 2 stitches, you're going to go around the actual double crochet itself. Okay, so from side to side instead of going through the top, if that makes sense. All right, so this one is going away from you, so this is a back post, and then now we're going into the next one, going from side to side, and this is called a front post. Okay, so hopefully you guys understand from what it's showing here, what I'm showing you guys here. But if you need to, you can definitely rewind the video a couple of times just to see the concept, just so that you guys really understand it and make sure that you're getting it the right way. But yeah, that's technically the whole setup of the waistband. You're just going to do this front post, back post all the way to the beginning. And it gives a really nice and beautiful effect at the end for when we put our drawstring through. Okay guys, so do that all the way to the beginning, and then you want to slip stitch when you get back to the top. And I'm going to do that for a total of 4 rows. You can do anywhere between 4 to 6 rows of the front post, back post, just depending on how thick you want it, or more. It's completely up to you. Personally, for me, I did about 4 rows. And I just wanted to show you guys that at the end, you always want to go ahead and slip stitch into that first stitch, then chain 1 and turn your work. And then once you start creating it for every other row, you're going to do it in the same direction. So if you did a front post in the previous row, you're going to do a front post in that next row. If you did a back post in the previous row, then you'll do a back post on that same one. So they'll pretty much just be stacking on top of each other is the best way that I can describe it. Okay, so go ahead, you can pause the video and then continue on till you get done with your portion or however many rows that you want for your waistband, and I will meet you guys back here. Okay, so this is what mine is looking like. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Here I am ending off for my 4 rows. Okay guys, and this is what it is looking like so far. And personally, you could add a drawstring right here and call it a day. This could be it for you. You know, it could be super chic but also simple, and you know, pairable with pretty much anything. But I like a little bit of sass, so we're going to add some French. Okay, so at this point here, I'm going to go ahead and grab and right here it does look a little bit stretched. That's because I went ahead and tried it on just to make sure it was good for me. So I did end out about 17.5 inches from the waistband, almost 17.25 inches from the waistband to the bottom before I added my fringe. So for your fringe, you want to get something that's about 5 inches in length that you can wrap the yarn around. Okay, it doesn't have to be 5 inches. It can be, you know, shorter or longer if you want. It's completely up to you. So once you wrap a good amount on, we're going to go ahead and cut those off. Just going to cut one section off. Once you get all of those, just lay them to the side. And here I'm going to go ahead and turn my project inside out, because the side that we were working on is technically the inside. Okay, and you'll see that once I turned it on the right side out, it does look a little bit better in terms of the seam. So this is when we're going to add our fringe, so it's facing the right side. And I just grab about 4 pieces of the fringe, the yarn that I just cut up. I'm going to zoom in here. You just want to attach your yarn and then pull all those 4 pieces of yarn through. Go through that loop and pull through both ends, okay? And then tighten it. And for me here, with the number that I have, I'm just skipping about 4 to 5 stitches and then going into the next and adding some more fringe. So that's the process that I use to go about adding my fringe on my specific skirt. You can add more if you want, less, completely up to you. So yeah, I'm just going to keep doing that all the way around. And for the life of me, I cannot remember what this yarn color is called. I do believe that it is Big Twist. It might be a coral, but when I was wrapping the skein, my son took away the tag, so I have no clue what this one is called, but I'm pretty sure it's some shade of coral or something like that. Okay, but yeah guys, so I got all the way to the other side. So now what we're going to do, we're going to be adding fringe onto that chain 1 space that we initially skipped to start the slit, and we're going to add some there as well. Then on the other side, the sides of the slit, now you want to go ahead and put the fringe in about the third row. Since it was 6 rows that we did for the slit, you put it in about the 3rd row and put it around the double crochet stitch itself. Okay, and do the same thing on the other side. Alrighty, so now we're also going to be adding fringe to the seam just so we can make it look pretty seamless. Okay, so for me, the way I went about doing that was skipping about 5 rows and then adding the fringe to that seam portion. Okay, you'll be able to tell which part is the seam because it's gonna look a little a bit like it's double. Okay, so you'll see that those stitches there are closer together. So you just want to skip about every 5 rows and add the fringe and do that all the way down. Okay guys, so here is the look so far with the fringe, with the waistband, and I did cut the fringe to make sure everything was even. Okay, so now this is the last part here where I am just chaining up the chain for my waistband. So here I'm just chaining up a total of 140 chains. Okay, once you get to the end, you want to chain 1, cut off your yarn and tighten. And then even on this waistband here, I'm also going to add some fringe on the ends just because I want to be a fringed out girl. Okay, the girls that get it, and the girls that don't. But yeah, so we're gonna add fringe to the ends here, then do the other side. Okay, and then you want to make sure you just tighten everything up and pull them really good so it's super good and tight. So at this point here, all I'm doing is just going through, and you want to, when I first did this here with adding the waistband, I actually got a bit too close to the fringe side of things. So when I actually ended up putting it on, the waistband was about an inch or 2 off from being in the middle where my belly button is. So you just want to be careful. I would say start adding the waistband in about 2 inches away from where the fringe is, and that should get you perfectly to the middle of your of your project. Okay, so this is the end. I added my emblem there, Nadi by Selassie. Here is the back. Here is the full thing, honey. Okay, just super fringed slit skirt. I mean, what else can you say? Okay, definitely give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already a part of our Nadi Creatives. Make sure you comment down below. And of course, lots of love.